Living abroad as an immigrant is extremely lonely life, especially at the beginning. Very often, living as an immigrant feels depressing. Every immigrant I've ever met, and I met loads of them, had to deal with this challenge. And I think the loneliness, the challenge itself, is responsible for more failures than any other factor in our immigrant journeys. It's funny when you see how prepared people come to start living in different countries. They bring all this sort of documents, translated documents, insurance, money, clothes, umbrella, whatever you think you will need. And some people even come, they have jobs already waiting for them, right, when they come. But out of all of these people, I've never met one single person who was prepared to deal with the biggest challenge, which is to be on your own, to be lonely. After being an immigrant for nearly 15 years now, I can say that before anyone decides to come to a different country, they should be told about this giant, huge challenge they will have to face and how to deal with it. And no matter how tough they think they are, it will affect them and their lives big time. Your job, your title, your experience, or even loads of money will not sort it for you. So let me tell you how to deal with this loneliness and to actually make real friends. Things I learned in my immigrant entrepreneurial journey, things like going from homeless to building and selling successful businesses, having family of my own, feeling completely assimilated, being surrounded by real friends, and actually feeling more at home here in the UK comparing to when I go back, and I go very, very rarely back to Poland. Let me tell you things I wish I had known before getting on that bus to London 14 years ago. I remember the day I arrived in London. I remember getting out of the bus, and that was a Victoria station. And I still remember the first thing I saw, which was really shocking for me, was how many homeless people there were around me. And because we didn't have that problem back in Poland. So it was a little bit scary, really. I mean, surrounded by these dark figures walking everywhere, lying down. It's just very strange. But I remember the scariest part of it was when I realized majority of these people out there, they were Poles like me. They were people coming from Poland. And I thought to myself, oh, they failed. And I noticed something. For whatever the reason, and I didn't understand it back then, these guys stayed in the groups or pairs. They were just staying with other people who failed like themselves, but they were all Polish. So there was a group of Poles and a groups of Poles elsewhere, and then maybe some other group of people from other countries somewhere else, but they were just all staying together. Over the years, I've realized this is the worst decisions immigrants make, and we all make it. Of course, not all of us end up being homeless, but there is some sort of defensive mechanism in each one of us, which basically tells us to just stick with our own. This is what we know. The number one things which keeps us isolated is that we don't fully accept we have moved our home, right? It's like we're no longer living in the old place. Of course, it's like this is not natural. You can't just get out of the bus and feel, oh, I'm in English now from day one. But you see, the problem is that the majority of people, foreigners, never accept it. They live this way. Like they keep feeling that I'm a Pole living in the UK. Therefore, I do Polish things with Polish people. It's like the only things that change in their minds is the surrounding and, the currency they earn money with. And this is especially visible with all the communities. And they call it communities, I think, to make it sound like it's something nice, but it's not. And I'll tell you in a second why. It's like, Polish people live with Polish, Indians living with Indians, like whatever your background. And these people tend to stick together and then just build these fake communities. And I really think these are responsible for more harm than good. But I understand the community thing gives sort of a comfort at the beginning, right? You arrive at a new place. Where do I start? You go to a community. Fine. It sort of makes sense. Now, but if you stay there for too long, it will destroy your spirit and you will get stuck forever. Imagine you're back into your original country. You've had your family, which you don't have much, options to choose, but you had also your friends around. And there are people you would not be friends with for whatever the reason. And then suddenly you come to a different country and you're being put with these random people around you, the people you would never associated with back in your home. For whatever the reasons, you're just different. You just don't like each other. You just don't want to be around each other, right? And suddenly you're being told that this is this amazing community which will put everyone together and will make your life amazing. This is absolutely madness. It's like parents trying to keep the adult kids at home to protect them. And what they actually are doing, without maybe even realizing it, is they make more harm because they prevent kids to live their own happy lives and to learn how to live happy lives, right? The community works very much similar thing. You must leave that community as soon as you can. Nothing wrong to start there, that's fine, but you must not stay there more than a couple of weeks, few weeks, maybe months. That is it. Now, I know it's going to feel uncomfortable and scary, but you can either stay there forever lonely, or you can just listen to what I'm saying and decide to make this scary move and basically save yourself from being miserable all your life. You see, you must look for your own tribe elsewhere. Your tribe should be based on what you do, who you like, or who you respect, or who inspires you, rather than based on where you're coming from. Again, this would never work back into your home country. How is it going to work in this new country? Why would you have to stay with these people from your country? There's no benefits apart from false security. I think I leave it here. I don't want to make this video too long, and I think this is a lot for you to think of, either to reflect back, or if you settle as an immigrant, or if you're planning to come to a different country. It's definitely something for you to think of. If you feel lonely and you don't know where to start, I would say this: re-examine your life now. Look at the people around you and place you live. If you live in a remote area, mostly by yourself, I would suggest you move to a biggest city you can afford, somewhere where you can find friends and opportunities, and where there's an action. Living in a small, isolated place by yourself, you're basically putting your whole life in a very narrow focus, preventing from anything interesting happening into your life, because everything is happening around you. You have no access to it. If, on the other hand, you live in any major city and you feel lonely, and loneliness often feels heaviest in a crowd, I would suggest that you should focus on finding your passion or hobby, something you like doing. It can be playing games, books, art, comedy, cars, anything you like, and you should start building your tribe around this. So you see, comparing to the previous example of somebody living in a remote area, you, on the other hand, living in such a wild environment and broad environment that it's hard for you to focus. So you should narrow down your focus and try to build your tribe around things you like, or things which just make you feel better, instead of just going everywhere. If this video resonates with you, if you like it, please click the like button below. Consider subscribing to my channel. I'll be talking more about immigrant challenges, both for business and life, as I have tons of experience. If you have questions, please do ask me questions below in the comment sections. And yeah, I mean, let's hope we can sort the loneliness and actually start building some meaningful relationships, because that's where real life is. Well, we can do it. Everybody can do it. You can do it. I've done it. You can do it too. All right. See you next time.